Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning if you're in Australia, or good afternoon, whereverabouts in the world you are. And welcome to another edition of the Poetry of Painting. So this week, just before I get started, I'd just like to tell you about an exhibition that's on at the moment. It's on until Sunday afternoon, and it's the North Weald Art Group annual exhibition in person. Paintings actually there physically, and that's being held at Denby's Wine Estate at Dorking in Surrey. If you get a chance to go along there, there's some fantastic work for sale or just to view and enjoy the exhibition. But do get along there if you can, because it's absolutely amazing. So back to tonight. It's my great pleasure this week to welcome back to the show the lovely and talented poet Ritesh Nigam. So bear with me. Let me bring Ritesh on. Hi, Ritesh. How are you?
I'm good, Fiona. How are you doing?
Good. I'm very good, thank you. Yes. You're looking well. It's
Freshly
cold.
shaved for the show.
The cold weather's not making you too
It's all right. I think the weather and the room temperature is all right. We had a heating on, which we all have to do it in this weather.
Yeah. Well, I've got a thicker jumper on so that we don't have to turn the heating up quite so much, thinking of climate change and whatever. So
exactly.
Time to get the nice warm jumpers out, I think.
That's right. I think, when you look back at your sessions, probably you can see, the weather is changing. How people come up with dress up.
Just an extra layer or two. So, and it has been quite cold the last couple of days. But anyway, Chris is saying, hi, Fiona, nice to be tuning in again to your lovely show. And I can even show that on the screen, of course.
Wow.
So there we go.
You've learned something new. Well done, Fiona.
Indeed. So, yes,
hello,
so
Chris.
welcome Hi, Chris. So welcome everybody that's watching, whether you're watching live or on replay. Great to have you along, and do please feel free to make comments and ask us questions and chip in with anything that you think is relevant to the show, or not even maybe, but anything that's exciting and interesting. So this week we're going to be talking about and reading poems about a painting of mine which is called From Forest to Meadow, and that's on the wall up here behind me. It's in oils on.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just going to stop there.
No, we're going to put it on the screen as well. I've remembered this week. So I just put that on the screen. Thanks for the reminder, Ritesh. That's great. I have forgotten in the past, so always good to remind me. It's in oils on gold leaf, and it's 40 by 30 centimeters, not including the frame. And it's a painting that, as normal, was chosen between us for the poems. And from Ritesh's point of view, that he's only seen an image of it, and we haven't talked about the painting at all. So, as normal, I'm going to be really fascinated to hear what the painting meant to Ritesh and how he's interpreted it. So would you like to read your poem for us first, Ritesh, and then we can chat about that?
Lovely. In fact, when you started sharing about your work with the golden leaves, I was kind of fascinated. How do you really use the real gold, or is something like that? And looked up and I said, wow, that's really amazing. And I think that brings out the painting a lot. The glossy look. Perfect.
It is quite magical, but I'll tell you all about how I do it after we've done the poems. Then spill some trade secrets.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so when I was looking at the poem, at the painting first, Forest to Meadow, and I was thinking, it's like forest to meadow is almost like that you are traveling from kind of a dense place, and meadow is somewhere, you just feel like it's nearer to the civilization.
Mm,
So I try to did kind of imagine a traveler or someone who is lost and he's traveling, because the moment you say a forest to meadow, it's like A to B,
mm.
and
Yes.
it's something like that. So the two words kind of connected with the word to, and I said, well, let me see if I can kind of travel through this painting. So here it is. It's again link poetry, as you mentioned in the post, link poet. Well, I don't think I
Yeah.
should be called a link poet, but yes, I've been enjoying doing link poetry. So here it is, forest to meadow, lost in this colossal forest for days. Days traveling to find a prudent, safe place that will shepherd me out of here. Here, where no soul can exist out there. There I see the mellow meadow grounds stretching to the oblivion and back to my despairing self for now. Now that I found a hefty hope to track myself to the swirling waters nearby as they flow when meadows around. Around I see the whole world changing as I leave this perilous ground. Ground thyself to the meadow in sight with last of the forest ghetto that marks the forest fringes portrayed as forest to meadow.
Oh, lovely. Yes, yes. And that's quite different from my one, as you'll hear in a minute. But I love that different approach that it just spoke to you, and that's what it meant. So yeah,
It's
that's
definitely,
that's
I felt,
lovely.
yeah, the way I felt about someone who is lost, a traveler, and
Yeah.
the moment you see a meadow or the waters, it bringing some kind of a hope, and then you're
Mm,
thinking that you are right on that track, and then you're, looking back to the forest, to meadow, kind of thing.
mm. Yeah, because there's talk of despair and obviously somebody who's, needing something, some help, and
Yeah,
then that hope that comes into it there. That's lovely, really good. Yeah, so it sort of takes you to where they are, but hopefully with a path upwards from there, which is
yeah.
lovely,
Thank
really
you.
lovely. Well, my one is a little bit more about the forest than it is about the meadow, which is interesting because yours was slightly more the other way. So here we go with my one, which is called From Forest to Meadow. In amongst the columns of the solid trunks, under the dense green canopy of needles, I breathe the sharp, refreshing fragrance, allowing its resinous warmth to soothe me, working unseen to calm my mind and soul. The embrace of the enveloping moist air, the closeness of shadow and soft light, the roughness of grey bark under my fingers, and a deep soft carpet cushioning my steps as I wander in nature's hallowed beauty. The trees emanate peace and tranquillity. They have learned patience and humility, and will share their secrets and connection with those souls who are willing to listen and to experience the quiet of calmness. Walking between the dark silhouetted trunks, as though passing through life's doorways, I come once more to the edge of this sanctuary, to the warm golden glow of an open sky and the warmth of sunlight upon my skin. After the comforting stillness of the forest, the meadow seems to abound with life, tall grasses weaving and gently whispering, a foil for the soaring song of the larks above, and I know my life is richer for the trees. So that's my one.
Lovely. Especially
Mm,
the word when you use the patience and humility with the trees. It's
Yeah,
it's so soothing. And oh my God, your poem is so soothing. So it's like, why did you
excellent.
stop? Why did you stop?
Well, that to me, that's what forests and woods mean to me. They, with the trees, they're such a solid presence. They're calm. They're just there. They last. And oh, Chris has been saying excellent poems to both of us. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Um, but I find, and I think it's to do with fractals as well, which are the patterns that leaves and branches make. It has actually been scientifically proven that fractals do help to relieve stress and calm people,
True.
like watching waves and things like that, as well. And
Yeah.
and that's what forests mean to me. You can be all wound up and worried about things. Go for a walk through a wonderful forest, and it seems to put it all into perspective. And
Oh,
life's
definitely.
not so bad. And
I think
yeah,
in lockdown, people have found that trees, nature, grass, leaves, just the twigs and the
yes,
branches, they bring so much calmness in your thoughts,
mm,
clarity a lot as well. They take you away from all those noises happening in news and media, and you just
yes,
go back, and that when you look, and that's how sometimes when you look at a painting, and especially a nature painting, and you just
mm,
feel so calm, like wow.
yes,
um,
yes. Well,
oh,
that's one of the things I really aim for in my paintings is to put across that feeling of tranquility and calm, so that people can have the painting on their wall and just come in from a hard day at the office or whatever, look at the painting, you
wow.
know, just relax and just be reminded that the beauty that there is in this world, and hopefully there still will be. Climate change is one of my big things, as you know already.
Yeah.
And I want to help try and remind people of that beauty, make them more aware of it, make people more concerned to preserve it. And hopefully it won't just be my paintings that are left there as a reminder. But yeah, but back to the gold leaf.
Yes.
Okay, so the way that I've done the gold leaf on this one is what I've done is to take the canvas to start with, and then you put on what we call a size, which is
Mhm.
basically the adhesive. So I spread that on the canvas, paint it on, and then after a certain length of time, and it depends what size you're using, I take the gold leaf, it is just exceedingly thin,
Mhm.
so that you can pick a piece up and you can just sort of drop it or just toss it like that, and it just sort of floats around. It doesn't drop.
Okay.
um, it's so delicate. And then but I pick it up using a plastic sheet, so the static of the sheet keeps the gold leaf stuck to it or
Uh-huh.
adhered to it, and then place that on top of the size, and
Okay.
then rub it down thoroughly, and then take the plastic sheet off, get the next piece and put that on. So because I'm for these ones like this, I've put gold leaf all over the canvas to start with. So in actual fact, I have to confess that it's not genuine gold leaf, because I couldn't bring myself to put real gold all over a canvas and then cover a lot of it with paint. It
Yeah,
just seems a
no,
bit crazy to do that. But
I
so
know.
this is imitation gold leaf, which if you didn't, unless you did some scientific tests on it, if you put them side by side, you can't tell the difference. Um, and then once it's down, then I glaze it over with a lacquer to seal it, and then I paint on top of it. So that's the process. But
Wow.
it's a really fun process, especially because the sheets come, sometimes they're about that square and others are a bit bigger, and you put them down, you overlap each pair, each neighboring one slightly,
Hmm.
just to make sure there are no gaps. And then once it's had time for the size to dry underneath it, you take a very soft brush and you brush away the little excess bits between the sheets. And that's something that I tend to do outside, because really when you're brushing the gold leaf like that, as I said, it's very fine, it's very light. You can end up with gold leaf in your hair, in
Ah,
your ears,
yes,
in
okay.
your clothes. Somehow it gets in everywhere, all
Uh,
over the room. You know, you'll be finding gold leaf in the house for weeks afterwards. So I do that part of it outside, and we just have a slightly gold speckled garden now and then when I'm doing that, but it's fine. It's metals natural, as it were. So and it's only tiny bits, so I'm not too worried about any impact on the environment from that. You know,
wow.
it's not like plastics. You know, metals have been in the earth and we've mined them,
Yeah,
but they're a natural
definitely.
substance. So yeah, so
Wow,
that's
that's,
gold
that's
leafing.
that's amazing.
Um,
And the next question was, because I think we were talking about it, just that how do you come up with the names of your painting?
mm. um, Sometimes they just seem to happen and it just comes into my head as to what the name should be. And other times I do actually sort of have to ponder about them and try lots of different names until I find one that really, to me, matches that particular painting. Um, like I had one, Solace of the Trees, which a lovely friend Rosie actually bought from me. Um, Softly Through the Canyon, that was another one that, not a gold leaf one, but it it was based on an image from a friend of mine who kindly allowed me to use it, gave me permission, and I'd seen this photograph of hers, and it just something, you know, spoke to me about it, and I interpreted it. You wouldn't know to look at the image. Oh,
Mhm.
that's painted from that photograph necessarily, because it was just something it triggered inside me. Oh, Rosie's listening. Hi, Rosie. Hi, hiya. Um, and and that just it was of a canyon, and it just to me it had a misty background, and I could just imagine walking through, you know, softly through the canyon. But others, that they all have a bit of a story to the title. It depends on the painting, and some just come easier than others. But I like to try and come up with my own titles if I can. Although sometimes I have put it out there. Anyone suggest a title for this one? Because I'm still stumbling over what to call it. But I like, because I think it's part of the actual process. I do like to come up with my own if I can. So,
And
oh,
when you say name, do you name them after you have finished, or do you start with project A, B, C, D, and then you call it later?
no, if it's a landscape or something like that, I name it afterwards, because sometimes even though you've got an idea in mind for the painting, sometimes it can change partway through,
True.
and the image that I may have had in my head when I started it may be quite different in some respects to the painting when it's finished. So if I had a title at the start, it may not fit by the end of the painting. So I generally I may have an idea, but I try not to get a fixed idea of the name before I've painted it. So unless it's a portrait commission, in which case, you know, a portrait of, you know, Freddie is Freddie. Um,
Exactly.
that's easy. But oh, Rosie said she just finished dinner. Lovely. Good for you, Rosie. You can't have you watching on an empty tum. That would never do whatsoever.
Mm.
So, Ritesh, how are things been going for you? I hear you've been having some exciting events lately,
Yeah,
and some exciting events coming up, I believe, as well.
that's true. So yeah, it's been a quite an exciting week. Week. This obviously the poetry show with you, and then earlier in the week I was on radio, BBC Berkshire, and then BBC three radios, three counties radio, um,
Yeah.
and quite a good experience talking about a few different things. So yeah, and then the open mic is coming related to poetry next month. So happening time.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Is that that's not your first open mic, is it?
No, it is not my first
No,
one.
no, I thought you'd
No.
done some before as well. Yes, yeah, brilliant. Oh, that's so. Are you going back to poetry meetings in person again at the
Yeah,
moment,
I
or
think it has
yeah,
already started, although I've not been able to go these last couple of. Uh, oh, that's Rosie's local station. Wow.
yeah?
Well done, Rosie. Uh, do you mean the Three Counties Radio, Rosie?
I'm sure she'll tell us in a moment.
Yeah. So, yeah, so the open mic has been happening here called Poetry Cafe.
Mm.
And some wonderful gatherings happens. I have not been able to go out. I had my COVID jab as well, the booster jab. Um,
Mm. Good.
so kind of now all protected, all ready to go
Yes.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Good.
about you?
Good.
Did you had your jab?
No, mine's not due until the end of this month,
I'm older
to be
than
the
you
six
then.
months.
I'm older than you.
Or I delayed mine. Who knows? Who knows? Um, but no, so and they say it's best if you can leave it 6 months. So
True. Yeah.
so yeah, only sort of a few days left now,
Ah,
six
okay.
days left, and then it'll be due. So I need to get that done.
Yeah.
But also I had a cold recently, and just thought it'd be a good idea to be completely over anything before I have the booster.
Exactly.
Um, so that I think
Yeah.
having any vaccination is better when you're as fit as you can be, rather than suffering with something else. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Your body needs to be in a state where it can take a new thing and,
Mm.
understand what's coming new instead of
Yes,
fighting with
yes,
something and then, a foreign object. Or,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what were you talking about on the radio shows, Ritesh?
Oh, it's a variety. I talked about the performance of Boris Johnson. I talked about COVID-19. Um, and the most funny story was at the Three Counties radio. There is there is an amazing radio host, Michelle Babs, or Babs Michelle now. So she was with BBC Radio Berkshire,
Hmm.
and I got to talk to her a lot during lockdown. And then she has moved to Three Counties Radio, and she just put a post on social media that how is there a story behind your name? So she,
Ah,
yeah, so she, that's why I asked a question about, because I was thinking, and talking about names, and I was thinking, oh, how do you name your paintings? And in
mm.
that post, a lot of people put their, they are named after, a character from maybe from Hollywood, or a painter, or like Babs, she was called Babs because named after her mother's maid who helped
Ah,
deliver her. So when I put my story, I was like, okay, because my name, although Ritesh is very all right name, but the backstory of my name is amazing when I share with people, and it always make people laugh. So I said, well, let me share it on the Facebook, and then she called me on the radio. So,
yeah.
are you curious to find more about it?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I don't want to bore you, and
No.
we got 6 minutes. So it started. I am the eldest in my family. So my mom have three sisters and 10 brothers. Big family, and
Wow.
and
Gosh.
I happen to be the first boy in all those 13 brother and sisters.
My
Um,
goodness.
so yeah, lots of responsibility on my shoulder, you see, to be a role model for so many cousins. and,
Absolutely, yes.
and they obviously they came up with the name Ritesh, which doesn't have any reference that this name is of a celebrity or a cricketer or a
Mm.
Bollywood artist. That's what normally happens in India. um, that was all right, but there came a flurry of names, and all my cousins, the boys, it happened that they were all named rhyming with my name.
Oh, right.
Okay, so it's like Ritesh, and then 6 months later, my cousin came and they called him Mitesh. Couple of years, Gitesh, then Hitesh, then Nitesh, and then Nitesh repeated again.
Wow, my
So
goodness. So your
yeah,
association with poetry goes back a long, long way.
I, we are talking about rhyming names in a poetry, exactly, and that's amazing that all the names is like, you pick up an alphabet, change R to M, and it becomes
Yeah.
Mitesh, and then take M, and then look into the dictionary, H, okay, Hitesh. So I'm sure there was some other reason behind it, but
Yeah.
it became kind of a hilarious thing, and especially when we go together, and we say,
Mm.
oh, Ritesh, hello, Hitesh, hello, Mitesh, hello. It's like,
Is it a common thing in India to do that, or is it
it's
just
a,
was it just something your family did?
no, it is. I think it is. When I realize it's kind of a common thing, but normally it
Mm.
happens in the family, but it doesn't travel into the cousins. So
Oh,
sometimes you
right.
will have, like like Paul and Paula. Sometimes
Mm.
people have that. I'm going to have. Uh, so that's how it goes in a family. But to cross
Right.
into other families, where obviously,
Ah.
and go on till maybe 7, 8 boys, that's
Wow.
and you won't realize, you'll be amused to find out that when my real brother, he came 3 4 years later, and his name was not rhyming with me. So,
Oh,
so my mom probably said, "Oh, there are lots of Tesh. Now
yeah.
let's change it to." And so he was called Abhishek, and incidentally, his name is kind of associated with son of a big Bollywood star. So
Oh,
back to the normal thing where people name
yeah.
their children after the Bollywood actresses, or cricketers in India. But
Yes. Yeah. Well, I
yeah,
hope he
that's
didn't feel hard done by not having a rhyming name with you. So,
I don't know. He got a different name. Probably there were so many. I think my mom didn't realize that all my aunts are going to copy my name.
yes. Wow. That's lovely. A lovely little story. Great. So you're going to be a celebrity on radio again? You got any plans for any more broadcasts? You'd,
Yeah, I think I might be coming again. I'm doing something on climate change. I might share with you later in some
yes,
other show.
do.
Yeah, a
Yes.
couple of other things happening as well. So yeah,
Good, good. Well, the climate change one, will you have a recording of that? Because I'd be very interested to listen to it.
definitely, I'll share the recording. Yeah,
Excellent. And then you can always put links,
yep,
onto my Facebook or something as well, if it's available for people to listen to generally.
yeah.
Um, so do that. That'd be lovely. So, wow, I can't believe it, but it's 28 minutes past 7 already.
How time flies,
It
especially when
certainly
we are
does.
laughing. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, and I love that story. Just, I suppose there are a few letters that you wouldn't be able to use, but it gives you quite a lot of rhyming names, doesn't it?
yeah,
Really, going through all of the or most of the consonants in the alphabet. So,
yeah,
love it, love it. So, well, once again, thank you so much for being on the show again, Ritesh. It's been too long since you were on last, but hopefully we won't leave it as long next time.
no,
And
definitely not.
love your poem, really beautiful, and thank you so much for that. And hopefully, as well, you'll let me share it in due course on Facebook here. So
Yeah,
that'd be lovely if that's all right. So thank you everybody for watching. It's been lovely to have you along. Thanks for the comments. And just a quick reminder, if you do want to sign up to my newsletter to get news of exhibitions and new paintings, just go onto my website, www.fionahooper.com, and you can sign up there, and then you won't need to worry about missing any posts on Facebook or anything, or somebody pipping you to the post for a painting that you fall in love with, because I do put them out on the newsletter first. So thanks ever so much, Ritesh. It's been fantastic. And I hope everyone will join me again next week at 7 o'clock UK time, Wednesday evening, for another edition of the Poetry of Painting with another wonderful guest who's coming back to join me. She's a fantastic poet as well. So looking forward to that. So take care, everybody. Thanks for watching in. And thanks again, Ritesh. Lovely to have
Thank
you on the
you.
show. Take
Thank you,
care,
Fiona.
everybody. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye. Bye.